The Ramayanam, one of the most sacred epics of Bharat, chronicles the extraordinary journey of Bhagwan Sri Rama, Ma Sita and Lakshmana through the forests, rivers, mountains and kingdoms, spanning through Ayodhya Kanda, Aranya Kanda, Kishkinda Kanda, Sundara Kanda and Yuddha Kanda. Nearly 80% of the Ramayanam is devoted to this Vanavas, the 14 years of exile, marked by trails, divine encounters and dharmic purpose. Over time, many of the places mentioned in Valmiki's Ramayanam have been mapped and revered. Ayodhya, Prayagraj, Chitrakoot, Panchavati, Hampi, Rameswaram, Tiruchirappalli and a lot more. These sacred lands have become living footprints of their divine journey, echoing their presence through centuries. And yet, Ramayana does not chronicle every moment or every place Bhagwan Rama, Ma Sita and Lakshmana set foot upon. There are regions they are believed to have visited, places where they rested, meditated or were sheltered by sages, but which are left unrecorded in the original scripture. This video brings to light one such place, a hidden sanctuary, a missing chapter, a forgotten halt in the sacred yatra of Rama, Sita and Lakshmana. Nested in the heart of Andhra Pradesh, VONTIMITTA is a serene and sacred town believed to have witnessed the footsteps of Rama, Ma Sita and Lakshmana during their Vanavas. Located not far from Kishkinda, which is identified with modern-day Hampi in Karnataka, this tranquil place is said to have offered them brief refuge on their journey through their southern forests. According to the local tradition, the divine trio rested here, spending their time in quiet, contemplation and devotion. The land bears a sense of stillness as if echoing their presence even today. Over generations, VONTIMITTA has been revered as one of the less known yet spiritually significant halts in the 14-year exile of Bhagwan Sri Ram. At the heart of VONTIMITTA temple stands a divine marvel, the Ekashila Vigraham of Bhagwan Sri Rama, Ma Sita and Lakshmana. Carved from a single stone, this murti is not just a piece of sculpture, it's a moment from the Ramayana frozen in time and stone. What sets this murti apart is a deeply symbolic detail where Ma Sita stands to the right of Bhagwan Sri Ram, a rare iconographic feature with profound significance. In traditional Hindu iconography, when a divine consort stands to the left of the male deity, like Shiva and Parvati, it symbolizes their life as a grihastha, a married householder engaging in worldly duties. But when the consort is depicted on the right of the man or the male deity, it sparks a spiritual vow, a diksha, a phase of self-discipline, penance or protection. This positioning signifies that the divine couple is not in a worldly marital state. We can see this same symbolism at Tirumala, where Sri Padmavati Devi is shown to the right of Lord Venkateswara Swami or Balaji. It is believed that Venkateswara Swami, the guardian of Kali Yuga, is under a diksha to protect humanity and thus not in a conventional grihastha form. So too in VONTIMITTA, the murti of Bhagwan Ram, Ma Sita and Lakshmana reflects the profound austerity of the forest exile. That is the reason Ma Sita is depicted on to the right side of Bhagwan Sri Ram. One of the most fascinating and spiritually significant aspects of the VONTIMITTA Ramalayam is something that may surprise many devotees: the absence of Hanuman. Yes, this may well be the only known temple in the world dedicated to Bhagwan Sri Ram where Hanuman is not present. Why? The answer lies in the deeper spiritual symbolism and the moment in Ramayanam that this temple captures. VONTIMITTA is not a shrine, it is a time capsule, a living sculpture of a precise moment from Rama's 14-year Vanavas. This Ekashila Vigraham, where Ma Sita stands to the right of Bhagwan Sri Ram, already signals that this is not the portrayal of Rama as a king, but as an ascetic under Diksha. This iconography itself is a rare and sacred, but the absence of Hanuman makes it even more remarkable, because this temple enshrines a moment before the meeting of Rama and Hanuman, a moment before Ma Sita was abducted, before the battle lines of the destiny were drawn. It is that quiet early phase of the exile when Bhagwan Rama, Ma Sita and Lakshmana had just left behind Ayodhya and were journeying through the forests of southern Bharat. When they reached VONTIMITTA, they had not yet encountered or entered Kishkinda, and Hanuman had not yet appeared in their lives. Thus, this temple does not include Hanuman in the central iconography. Or maybe in other words, this temple does not exclude Hanuman. It simply preserves that moment before he entered the sacred narrative of Ramayanam. That is the reason VONTIMITTA is literally a time capsule. The name VONTIMITTA is believed to have originated from two devoted hunters, Vontudu and Mittudu, who were among the earliest known worshippers of Bhagwan Sri Ram in this region. These two humble Nishadas, moved by Rama's dharma and divinity, are said to have begun worshipping him right here at this very spot. In reverence to their devotion, the place came to known as VONTIMITTA, combining their names as a mark of eternal memory. Though we don't precisely know when Vontudu and Mittudu lived, their legacy lives on, not through written records, but through oral traditions, devotion, and the enduring sanctity of the sacred land, VONTIMITTA. In his travels across southern India during the 17th century, Jean-Baptiste Tavernier, a French germ merchant and traveler, documented various places of cultural and architectural grandeur. Among them, he makes mention of a place which he refers to as VONTIMITTA, which is understood today as VONTIMITTA, located in present-day Andhra Pradesh. Tavernier, in this book, The Six Voyages, describes the temple of VONTIMITTA as one of the grandest pagodas in all of India, a striking testament to the architectural excellence and spiritual importance. He was particularly impressed by the temple's sculptural precision and the imposing presence of its structure, which stood out even among the many great shrines he visited across his journey. Travernier's account about VONTIMITTA is one of the earliest colonial accounts that we have about VONTIMITTA, which is a non-Indian source. You might wonder why I'm talking high of this, because there is a hidden aspect about Travernier's account. Tavernier is historically linked to the acquisition of the legendary Hope Diamond, the one that you're seeing on the screen, one of the largest and most mysterious blue diamonds in the world. While his book The Six Voyages contains drawings and descriptions of the diamond, he never explicitly recorded where he obtained it. However, mineralogical studies confirm that the original diamond came from Golconda region, particularly the Guntur mines, the same place where Kohinoor was found, placing it squarely in the region that includes VONTIMITTA. Though there is no written evidence proving that the diamond was taken from VONTIMITTA Ramalayam, some speculate that it may have belonged to this temple, especially considering Travernier's account of this immense grandeur and wealth of VONTIMITTA. The temple's historical importance and regional association with the diamond-rich soil lend some weight to this theory, but it remains a theory. Today, the Hope Diamond is housed at Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C., valued over 2,000 crores. Whether or not it once adorned this Ramalayam, its connection to the sacred land is undeniable. It originated from this place, it belonged to this place, and it was taken from this place. That is the reason the account of Tavernier about VONTIMITTA is very important to further study about the origins and the trail of Hope Diamond in depth. Talking of its grandeur, the VONTIMITTA Ramalayam is a stunning embodiment of Vijayanagara architectural brilliance, built in the 16th century under the patronage of Pemmasani Nayaks, vassals of the Vijayanagara Empire. This temple stands as a grand tribute to Bhagwan Sri Ram and is one of the largest and most ornate temples in the southern India. It is also revered as the Ayodhya of the Andhra. And in Telugu states, we have this popular saying that Ramalayam leni uru undadu, which means there is no village or a hamlet in both the Telugu states, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, where you will not find a Ramalayam. It is present in every nook and corner of the both states. That's how deeply Rama is revered in the Telugu states. And rightfully, VONTIMITTA is the Ayodhya of Telugu people, not just Andhra. Let me share my intentions in making this short video about VONTIMITTA. Recently, I put out a poll on what people think about Uttara Ramayanam or Uttarakanda, and majority, at least more than 50%, were of the impression that Uttara Ramayanam is inauthentic and it does not actually chronicle the follow-on story of the epic Ramayanam. Now, what you believe is up to your own choice. But the facts, that's what matter the most. At least for me, I'm always interested in that. So if you are one of those who would say that Uttara Ramayanam is inauthentic, if you read Uttara Ramayanam and came to that opinion, I respect your opinion. But if you did not make an effort to understand what are the contents of Uttara Ramayanam and just taking a rigid position that it is not reliable or is prakshit, for those people, here is a perspective that I would like to share. If you broadly try to understand Uttara Ramayanam, it features 10 aspects. chapters. The history of Ravana, history of Hanuman, Rama's court, Sita Parityaga, Lavanasuravadha, Shambhukavadha, Ashwamedha Yajnam, Sita's end of life, coronation, and the end. Finally, the end. So approximately Uttara Ramayanam or Uttarakanda has 110 plus chapters, of which 40%, that's approximately 42 chapters, talk of three most important aspects: the history of Ravana, the history of Hanuman, and the Rama Rajya. So by calling Uttarakanda or Uttara Ramayanam as fictitious, basically we are calling that the entire history of Hanuman is fictitious, and the entire Rama Rajyam, which is highly venerated, that entire concept or that entire detail from Ramayanam, we are just throwing it away. And the history of Ravana as to why he was so much hated by everybody else, all that is articulated in Uttara Ramayanam. So if I call Uttara Ramayanam as inauthentic or fake, then I am actually saying that the history of Hanuman is fake. The history of Rama Rajya as the most ideal phase of Rama's reign is fake. Well, that's what it means, because the actual Ramayanam, which ends with Yuddha Kanda, does not mention anything about Hanuman's history. It does not mention anything about Ramarajya. All that is explained in Uttara Ramayana. So people who are blindly saying that Uttara Ramayana is inauthentic are saying that Hanuman and Ramarajya are fake. I mean, it's up to you. You can make your own choice. But I just would like to say that make the choice an informed one, not an emotional one. I understand that there are major contentions like Sita Parityaga, or the final fatal punishment given to Lakshmana, or the Shambhukavadha. All these need to be studied for its facts documented in Uttara Ramayana, not based on emotions. Again, coming back, the reason why I wanted to make this video on VONTIMITTA is not everything is documented in Valmiki Ramayanam. And just because it is not documented or popularly known doesn't mean that it did not exist. Same way, Uttara Ramayanam might not be popular, but it holds enormous amount of Ramayanam which we follow and venerate, but is not from the 6 books, but is from the 7th one. So it is quite difficult to scrap it down saying that it is inauthentic. So by all means of what I read, over the last 12 years I've been reading Ramayanam, 100% Uttara Ramayanam is an extension to Ramayanam. Now people talk of grammar and other aspects, all that I explained in my detailed 1 hour long video on Uttara Ramayanam. Nobody can deny that Uttara Ramayanam is very much part of Ramayanam. Just because you are uncomfortable with certain instances, don't try to impose those views onto Ramayanam. Hence my effort. So coming back to VONTIMITTA, this temple is definitely a time capsule from the times of Ramayanam that freezes that moment of the early days of the Vanavas, depicting how Rama, Sita and Lakshmana lived the lives of an ascetics, especially Bhagwan Sri Ram and Ma Sita. She is standing towards the right side of Bhagwan Sri Ram, as that murti signifies that they were under a Diksha, and not depicting Hanuman precisely freezes that moment from the early chapters of Aranyakanda. And VONTIMITTA is a time capsule that we all need to cherish. And as always, thanks for watching.